I know that the hot thing is getting football started, but playing football without a proper commercialization structure is not going to come to naught, because it's not going to result in the development of the sport that we need. So where we need to spend the time and focus is on establishing a commercial base that will ensure that the clubs can get some money, some subvention, so that they're able to pay the players, so that the players can find a financially viable career in playing in the Premier League.
Welcome, Sports Nation, to Sports DTM, the sports channel where we call sports down the middle. You can expect the latest in sports news, views, and reviews from our resident analysts. No sports topic is too controversial, and no team or player is above criticism. So just smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on our balanced offering of riveting sports content. And don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Welcome to Sports DTM.
Greetings, sports fans. Welcome to another episode of Sports Down the Middle, the channel of undiluted sports content. Now, we see that you have been watching and liking our videos. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to get updates on the latest happenings in sports. If the subscribe button is still red, that means you have not yet subscribed. Today we have with us in our virtual studio a very special guest, Christopher Williams, the chairman of Professional Football Jamaica Limited, PFJL. Welcome to Sports Down the Middle, Chris.
Greetings, big up. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. I'm joined also by my colleague Kurt, and today we'll be having a little discussion with Chris, and hopefully our viewers will enjoy this session. Viewers, yes. As per usual, we always ask people who come on Sports Down the Middle to declare their clubs, whether locally, internationally, whatever sports they like. And Chris, go ahead. Tell me your teams, tell me what we support. Local, international, Jack, and Shandy. Jamaica College, perfect. I love it already.
I never expected it to go there, but
I love it already. It have to go there. That's where it start, it finish, it always is. You know,
this interview already on the eye already. It can't go down from here.
Yeah, man. Perfect for life. Yeah,
right, good. So that's you're fervent for life. That's your sports that you're running with. And the international team, that's the international team as well.
Jamaica College is an international team.
Yeah, boy.
Anywhere in the world you go. You said Jamaica College, them say, okay, all right, yes.
I love it. I love it. All right, I'm not going to fight against you with that, Chris. I mean, I love it. And I'm sure the rest of folks out there, Kurt, not commenting. He doesn't think so, but I love it and I'll hold it right there. Fervent Jamaica College. All right. Sports in Jamaica has been largely on hold for almost 1 year. The PFJL is the body assigned responsibility for the marketing of the local league. It has rebranded and retitled the Jamaica Premier League, powered by Digicel. Mr. Williams has led an impressive campaign so far, getting in over $100 million in sponsorship. Chris, tell us how you have done it so far and just give us some feedback on that.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you for having me, and thank you for continuing to shine the light on sports and on football in particular. As you know, and your viewers know, the sport of Jamaica is football. You know, I would even go as far as to say the sport of the world is football. You know, it is the most popular and loved sport, and Jamaica is no different. So we feel that that it is critical that we put firm footing under football, and that firm footing for football must be a solid professional, viable Premier League. The 1998 experience of the Reggae Boys demonstrated to us two things. One, that football can galvanize the country, but more importantly, that local footballers are the catalyst for galvanizing the country. And the avenue for local footballers is the Premier League. So it is critical for us to ensure that the Premier League is on a solid, firm footing. The JFF recognized that, and in early 2020 decided to ask Christopher Samuda to chair a steering committee towards looking at how the league can be revamped and be put on a firm footing. That steering committee came up with a plan, and that plan required a new body to be established and for independent directors to be added to the new body. The new body was Professional Football Jamaica Limited. It was incorporated as a company, in a Jamaican company, and it is owned by the 12 clubs that comprise the Premier League. And each club was given the opportunity to appoint a director, and then they were asked to select 4 independent directors, and that is how it came to my attention. They approached me and asked me to join as an independent director. And myself, Lloyd Distant, and Nadani Chong joined, and we still have a vacancy for one more. Lloyd Distant is the president of the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, and Nadani is the vice president of finance for Sagicor Group Jamaica Limited. And I am CEO for Proven.
Mr. Proven.
Right. And from the independent directors, it was agreed that a chairman would be selected.
Right.
And so I was asked to chair, and so that is how we were structured. Now, once we were structured, we were now asked to implement a business plan that would drive commercialization. And that business plan rests on one critical component, and that is broadcast. The reality is, if you are going to seek to commercialize the sport, you're going to need eyeballs. That is the ultimate driver of commercialization.
People need to be able to see, to be able to spend money, and to be able to monetize the business.
People, you want people to spend money, but before them can spend money, they have to watch, they have to see the product. They have to consume the product. And the consumption of the product is through viewing or through hearing. So we had to find a way to expand the broadcast coverage.
Right. So sorry, Chris, but you have touched on some very important points that are there in terms of the whole structure, very important information for our viewers. And as you spoke about just the broadcast, and I'm sure we'll get even a little more detail as we go along, you have indicated that broadcast and viewing is critical. But right now, there is no sport, specifically no football, being played professionally or even anywhere in Jamaica per se. And as such, people are not seeing the sports. You have submitted a proposal, a submission to the sports ministry as well as ADPEM, What's the status of those submissions?
We are awaiting the approval. The sports ministry has given us some feedback on our submission, some areas that they'd like to see us strengthen, right. And it is now in front of ODPEM, and so we are awaiting their feedback. But John and team, I know that the hot thing is getting football started, but playing football without a proper commercialization structure is going to come to naught, because it's not going to result in the development of the sport that we need. So where we need to spend the time and focus is on establishing a commercial base that will ensure that the clubs can get some money, some subvention, so that they're able to pay the players, so that the players can find a financially viable career in playing in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So my focus is not 100% on getting play resumed. My focus is 50% on getting play resumed and 50% on strengthening the
capacity building.
Yes, on capacity building. Because listen, one thing you and I know, and everybody knows, is that the pandemic not going to be with us forever, right? So football will return. But you and I know, Kurt, you don't want football to return in the same way where the man them can't find money to get to the game, and you can't pay the players, and is a scrounging around thing. So we have to use this time. This time is, don't waste the crisis. That's my theory. And the crisis has given us a break and allowed us time to go to sponsors and structure the broadcast platform properly and put in place the infrastructure so that when we get the go-ahead, we have a platform. So that is what I want us to spend the time zoning on. Because I mean, we know we're in the middle of a pandemic. We know we're in the middle of a pandemic. We know that football is a sport that can be managed, because obviously you don't have no spectators, and is only 100 people, including production staff. In the big stadium.
Try to find a way to actually get the money, because the stadium will not be full.
Exactly. Yes. So guys, I'm not spending the time, pressuring ODPEM turn around and say go. I'm going to need to find money for testing. I'm going to need to find money to run the games. I'm going to need to find.
But I hear Chris. But at the same time, even though you need to find that, and I heard Kurt trying to come in, but I just want to put this in. So your critical thing is you're trying to work on two fronts, right? One, you're looking at the commercialization, and on the other side, you're looking at the restart. But it's almost a chicken and egg. I mean, if you don't have the viewership and the opening up, then the commercialization
it's not a chicken. No, it's not. It's not a chicken and egg, because as you have seen, the sponsors will commit to supporting the league once it is started. So we are able to get corporate support committing to investing over a year.
Even without a restart.
Yes, because they're business people. They understand that we're in the middle of a pandemic. So we have to outline to them the broadcast structure, the advertising, the rebranding, all of that, and demonstrate to them that we will have a viable broadcast product. And then they say, okay, we are in. And then now we can have everything lined up and ready to go. All the logos, all the advertising support, all the merchandising support, all the co-branding support. When you go to certain leagues around the world, you see a beverage brand supporting the league, and
all of those are there.
all of those opportunities are there. And so we are using the time now to put all of those co-branding, broadcast, merchandise, all of those platforms in place so that when we get the go ahead, we have a product that you are going to be excited about, and it is going to generate revenue for the clubs.
For the club. Great.
So this crisis, I'm telling you, this crisis is a godsend. Because if I take this chairmanship and we had to start the league within 2 weeks or whatever time, because I mean I believe I got it in like October, the end of October. Yeah. And if we were supposed to start by I think it was November 14th was the timeline that was initially
too quick.
When I find money for pay referee and everything, we don't have enough support. So we have used this time to put in place a structure and a marketing base, because you want Arnett jersey, you want Dunby Holding jersey. You can't get it right now.
Definitely.
You understand what I'm saying? So we need to put in place those platforms so that when we roll out, you can click on your thing and order a Veer jersey or a Waterhouse jersey and have it delivered to you, and you sit down at the yard and drink your red stripe and watch the game.
Sounds good.
So that's what I want us to zone in on. What are the various areas that we need to improve in order to
get us to that professional level?
To get us to that professional level.
Fair enough. Kurt, I heard you're trying to come in.
Yes, and I want to stick to the commercial aspect of it. What's the deficit now? And what are your plans to close that gap between where they were and getting them professional so that the league can start? And is there any support coming from those clubs? Or are they supporting you in getting there?
No, the clubs are on the board. So clubs are very much supportive because they're on my board. So they're on the subcommittees and so on. So they're working. Everybody is working. Now, to run the league at the level that we feel is attractive to the modern social media viewer, Jamaican. We need about $100 million.
Is that really enough, Chris?
In addition to the 100 million Adrian mentioned before. This is in addition to that.
No. This is the cost. This is the cost.
Okay.
So we feel about that. Now, what are the ways to earn revenue to surpass that cost and make a profit? Because we want to make a profit, it's a business.
Right.
So we have the title sponsorship, which we have secured with Digicel. Right. We have broadcast sponsorship, which we have secured with Sportsmax and Digicel. We have the club sponsors, which we have announced 8. But we really have 10. We'll be announcing another 2 very shortly.
And do that announcement on DTM if you want.
No, I don't want.
Breaking news.
But we're coming. Yes. And then we are going to have advertisers during the games. So the games will be streamed on the various platforms, as well as on cable, as well as on free-to-air, and we will have advertising spots available during those streams and those broadcasts. So that will give us some advertising revenue. So we have sponsorship revenue, we have advertising revenue, we have streaming revenue, which is now globally, which we have secured a partner with. So we get about $750 US a game for streaming the games.
Sounds good.
And then we now have merchandise, which we're coming with. So we will be launching a platform that will allow you to buy your gear for the team that you support. And you know, you can put your name and your number on the back and all the usual, you know, all the jazz that you can do with the various international teams. And then eventually we will finally have game day tickets, you know, where you can go to the game. Obviously, we don't have that right now, but so that's the third pillar. So all in all, we think we have the ability to move revenues up to as much as 300 million.
Right.
We're not there yet.
But even if you push that, and your plans sound pretty good, Chris, I must say, in terms of just the different segments that are there. But based on what I've seen in the past, it will require even more, because even though the sponsorships previously were pretty good, they still left a hole in the coffers for the clubs, in that the clubs previously complained that there was a prize money of about 2.5 million, and an additional 1 million and otherwise, but yet still they were spending upwards of $30 million. What's the kind of money that's required to actually get the clubs to break even and to become profitable?
Right. That is the gungo. That is the gungo right there. Yeah. I think we really want to get up to $500 million.
$500 million. That's the value that you put on the company, the Premier League, though.
That's where we need to get revenues up to.
Oh, okay.
Get revenues up to $500 million. Remember, the clubs own the league, so right. so whatever revenues we're able to generate, anything above costs, we distribute to the clubs
evenly.
Right? So
evenly,
yes,
right?
No, not evenly. We have it largely evenly, but we do have some performance
incentives.
Okay. Exactly. We do have some performance incentives, but largely evenly. And so the key is to grow revenues and give the clubs an opportunity to grow their profit share from the league. So those are the platforms in growing the revenue. We have to grow the viewership so that it becomes the most important. You know, the reason why people spend so much money to get the broadcast rights for the World Cup is because they know everybody is watching the World Cup. So what we have to focus on is marketing and branding the league so that people watch it. Then we do obviously the market research and so on. And once we get good viewership ratings, then we can now go back to our sponsors and our advertisers and say to them, look, we are number one in terms of viewership. So if you want your product to sell, you have to run a 30-second ad during our game and so on. So that's why we've rebranded it Jamaica Premier League, because we want, Jamaica is obviously the big brand.
Right.
Yes. So we want to be associated with Jamaica. So it's going to be Jamaica Premier League powered by Digicel. Right. And we're going to be doing a lot. So those are the things we're working on now. We're working on the logo. We're working on the advertising. We're going to have to, just like how you see NBA ads and NFL ads, advertising and La Liga ads and all that, advertising the league itself. We're going to have to run ads for Jamaica Premier League.
And that sounds pretty good, Chris. And isn't a big part of that advertising the actual product in terms of the players that are there, the fan engagement that's involved. I know that in the other major leagues such as the EPL, you have Fantasy Premier League, and you have different social media interaction tools.
Let me ask you, Adrian. You think the best football player in the EPL? You think the best football in the world play in the EPL?
That's a little bit subjective. I mean, you have some very good football that's played in the EPL, broad-based in terms of from 1 to 20. But then in terms of the concentration of the top tier, it may not be as good. Granted that this year, it's been pretty close at the top.
The simple answer, Chris, is no. The best football is not played in the EPL.
Exactly. The best football is not played in the EPL, but EPL is marketing. They have all of us around our little finger with their highlights, with their teasers, with their fan zones,
their fantasy football.
With the fantasy football, with all the various avenues of marketing, the EPL
engagement
and the engagement. So it is about 70% brand building and broadcast teasers, and about 30% quality football.
Oh, I don't think it's that low, Chris. Come on. Come on. They have some good teams.
No, it has to add up to 100, Adrian.
Yeah, but having said that, I think we're going to play some good football. You saw the ball, the level of ball played in Saudi Arabia, largely local contingent. We're going to see some good. We're going to get the ball level up to the standard. Once the playing surface is good,
right.
The ballers will deliver. Will give you some exciting play.
I was going to get into that, because sometimes the image we see on TV is what attracts us to the games. And where are we in terms of assisting either the teams that own the surface or the stadiums on a whole? Where are we in terms of assisting them in getting that image or that look
up to par?
We're not there. Yeah, there's no doubt that the infrastructure affects the broadcast quality.
Right.
It affects the visual quality, and it affects the play. So we need to ensure that the infrastructure is at a level that is acceptable. Now, are the clubs there? No, the clubs aren't there. How long will it take us to get there? It's going to take us a good 5 years to get there. In the meantime,
grown a while ago.
Yeah, we're working on various international supporting agencies, because it's big money to put in
big
investment. So we're working on that, but it's going to take some time. In the meantime, as you know, for this year, we're going to play the games at controlled venues, and those venues have the best playing
infrastructure.
The best infrastructure, and so we are excited by that, because that will allow us to deliver a good visual quality, as well as it will allow the players to express themselves in a more comfortable way with the ball rolling and bounce and so on. So we're not panicking. We're not panicking.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah. So we found a workaround, but it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. Listen, this exercise, when I say, this exercise of getting it to the level that we want to get it to, is a 10-year exercise.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. We can't see. It's a lot of work.
When people call me and ask me about when football going to start, I'm saying, listen, that is the least of my. That is the least. Yes, I want football to start, and we're doing everything in our power to get it back. But we have a whole heap more work.
You're trying to work on a sustainable model.
You have to get a sustainable model, because it don't make no sense playing ball and the ball is not improving the quality of the game. The infrastructure is weak. There is no revenue.
Chris, I'm going to put something to you. So as you talk about improving the infrastructure and the product and the ballers, we have heard talk about, for example, the sports software, Instat, which is a big part of improving the product, is the analysis, the data that is there, the statistics to allow it to actually drive decision making and commentary and all of that. You think that's something that we'll be looking at as well?
We are looking at it. Have you seen the cost of it?
That's why we're here with you to actually discuss that.
Yeah, we're looking at it.
But the cost is there, but the data can maybe drive. You can find a way to drive some revenue to it, some sponsorship to it.
No, I don't think I don't think you can monetize the data at this time. However, as you said, it will allow the broadcast coverage and the media coverage to improve, and that in of itself will drive viewership, and that and the viewership drive.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right. So we no, we're not taking our eyes off of it. We have 2 or 3 proposals in front of us on it, and you know, we will go with one for sure. We will go with one.
Okay.
So we will have some statistics available to media houses, you know, but will it be at the level that we would like? I'm not sure, because the cost is a little frightening.
Okay.
You know,
it's a little bit prohibitive at this moment.
Yeah, but we're trying to negotiate payment plans and so on and so forth. So, you know, so it's still work in progress. But we do see the value of it in terms of ensuring that, you know, programs such as yours and so on can get the data so that you can improve the coverage of the sport, and that in and of itself is going to drive viewership for us. So we, you know, we understand. It's not lost on us. We understand.
Yeah, we appreciate the outlook on Instat, but what about simple stats like, for instance, having a website for Jamaica Premier League where fans can interact? Because in the past there is no such information out there, and simple things like having a table that I can interact with, check on my team.
We have the domain. We have the domain, but we're working with you know, Instagram and Facebook and so on, because Red Stripe had been driving it largely through RSPL.
Right.
Okay. And so we need to merge it with the new domain, and that's another reason why we were fairly insistent on not giving the title sponsorship to a sponsor, right? Because it every 3 or 4 years, you know, you have
changes. They can't get the type of consistency and all of that
of the brand
and of the brand, right?
Right. So we have, you know, so we have the new domain, we have the new IG pages and Facebook pages, and we're doing all the work behind the scenes to get those things organized, so that and that's why I said, I mean, these are the blessings that are taking place by the delay caused by the pandemic. It has allowed us the time to, you know, to hire staff, to put in place
the stuff that really is important.
Yeah, exactly, because I mean, unless we have these things, we're not going to get the viewership.
So you're talking about and all of this, as far as I'm concerned, centers around your fan engagement. So you're talking about your social media platforms. I don't know about you, but people seem to enjoy fantasy football. What are your thoughts and things, that type of fan engagement that is necessary to drive the revenue?
Boy, it's critical. It's critical. I've been doing a lot of reading. You know, football is well covered. Is well covered, you know, across the world by top consulting firms, you know, and we've gotten a lot of data, and I've been doing a lot of reading. And the reality is that the younger generation, you know, wants to engage in the sport constantly, and of course, the players can't play every day because it's just physically impossible. Right. So. One way of keeping the fans engaged outside of the actual game day is through these fantasy leagues and so on. So they're critical. And so, you know, these are avenues that we're going to have to develop in order to ensure that we grow fan engagement. The beauty also of doing it as a Jamaica Premier League is that the Jamaica brand is so international, you know. So when we're talking about fan engagement, we're not talking about just people, you know, living in 876. You know, the diaspora is so tuned in to us that it is amazing. So we have to ensure that the diaspora is given
they need a steady data for football.
They need a steady data. So I mean, way beyond our ability to give them content. They consume content so much. So as a result of that, we have to be building out relationships with entities like yourselves and so on. So we're going to be contacting a lot of entities like yourselves to give you access so that you can deliver the content.
We want to do that.
The fan can stay engaged, and when the fan stays engaged, they'll turn up on a Saturday or a Sunday or a Monday to watch the game, and that's what we.
That's good news, because Sports DTM is definitely interested in partnering with the PFJL in terms of pushing the product. We think it's a good avenue. Based on what we have seen, we get viewership both locally and internationally, and apparently there's a wide cross-section of people in the diaspora who are actually looking for content, and especially football content. So we're definitely interested in partnering with that.
We really appreciate the level of work that you're putting in.
It's a lot of work.
And all of the marketing strategies that you have outlined. But we just want to hear from you. Will there be a league this year? And how confident are you that we will run a successful Jamaica Premier League?